Hello there once again. Welcome to the newest episode of BuluCast. Just before we kick things off, I have to apologise for the bit of a hiatus that we went on there unintentionally. I just had a ton of stuff on and then kind of kept forgetting to do video. So yeah, but I'm back and that's what matters. Um, so just a couple of announcements then before we kick things off. I'm not gonna have that Sunday, Wednesday schedule. I'm just gonna post a video whenever I can. That's just how this is gonna go. I'm also we're starting we're starting our return back with a Unbroken Bonds set list review because the releases, that's the word, they start this weekend. So figured what better time if after the pre-releases it's kind of useless. I think probably at this point it's kind of useless too, but may as well keep going with it. The other thing is that I have a Football Manager campaign. That's gonna be the next video. The start of that. It's gonna be Accrington Stanley. It's Football Manager 17. Old, but we'll work with it. So that's the next video. But first, we're gonna focus on this set list. Same as always. I'm just gonna go through it. It's my first impressions of most cards. I've seen a couple of them. I don't think it's possible to avoid some of them. So yeah, straight from the top, Fairmost and Buzzwole GX. I've seen this one before. I think it looks really good. Excuse me. I mean, Elegant Soul for 190 and then base damage is 60 seems like it could help set up the base game GX. And all you need for 3 extra prizes is, I say all you need, 7 extra energy. I mean, it's probably possible. It's going to be really difficult. You're already taking 1 extra prize. Like if you knock out a tag team, that's 4 prizes. If you knock out a tag team while it has 8 energy, that's full 6 prizes. I think 7 is definitely 7 is definitely needed to make it work properly. Else, it's just way too easy to take 6 prizes in one turn. Let's move on. Caterpie, like this with the Butterfree, you can just flip a coin to evolve, flip a coin, evolve. You've got a Butterfree straight off the bat, and then you can triple charge, and that sets up pretty quickly. Sets up a lot of things pretty quickly. But you've got to flip heads. So I don't think it's going to be played at all. I just think it's really cool. Odysseus, Gloom, flip a coin again. A lot of coin flipping in this set so far. Reveal your hand, 1 basic Pokemon you find there onto your opponent's bench. I mean, that could come in useful, I suppose. You can stop your opponent from using Pokemon with A abilities like Lele and other things. Ray. I mean, it's a cool idea. Again, I don't think you'll see any play. Vileplume, another coin flip. If heads, just give them a status condition. I like that. Venonat, Venomoth, Assassin Flight. Use this attack only if your opponent's active is affected by a special condition. 90 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. That would go really well with the Vileplume. It's 1 energy as well, isn't it? Yeah, it's colorless energy. That'd go really well with the Vileplume. Because you just flip a coin, if heads, they're affected, you're giving them a status condition and hitting the bench. Easy peasy. Venomoth GX. Secret of the Ninja. I like the attack name. 110 plus damage. Play Koga's Trap from your hand this turn. 90 more damage. Play Janine from your hand this turn. During your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon. I don't know what either Koga's Trap or Janine do, but I assume we'll find out later in this set review. Tenfold Retaliation. Shuffle your hand into your deck and draw 10 cards. I mean, it's not a great GX attack, but Secret of the Ninja's decent. Probably play it as like a one-off in Venomoth Vileplume, which I'm definitely going to try at some point. Sprout, Weeping Bell. Poison and Burned is decent for 1 grass. Victory Bell. Active Poison. 60 more for each special condition. I like it. Again, goes well with the Vileplume. And gets rid of abilities for a turn. That's interesting. But again, I mean, if they retreat to the bench, it kind of resets that, so what's the point? Tangela, Tangrowth, can't retreat. Heal. Very underwhelming. Grubbin. Artana. If you have exactly 4 prize cards remaining, does 120 damage. I'm a big fan of False Swipe. Grass, colorless. I mean, can't really what do you call it? Stream it, because it's not one attachment, but it's potential, definitely. Shram and Charizard GX. 10 more damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. I mean, that's good on a 270. Because chances are you're not getting 1-hit KO'd, but you could easily then get 2-hit KO'd, and you can't heal after that because you've already attacked. I don't know. Air Strike for 230 and can't use it again. Double Blaze for 200. If it's got at least 3 extra fire energy, does 100 more. So just 300. So that's knocking out a tag team, but again, it's 6 fire energy. Arcanine has, it's 3 fire, so that's pretty terrible. But it's fire acceleration, I suppose. Again, for 3 fire energy, that's pretty bad. Darmanitan, excuse me. There's some acceleration, but it's only to hand. It's not really great either. Not too far. Volcanion. This is the pre-release, but one of the pre-release promos, isn't it? It's just acceleration. If you're going second, it's better. High Heat Blow, I suppose, works with the first one. Bitten, Burned, or Asleep. Well, draw card, and this one is Asleep. Torracat, Incineroar, Strong Yell. 3 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Can't use more than 1 Strong Yell ability during your turn. I mean, that's pretty solid. I don't think people would play it for the extra 30 damage. But, I mean, it could. I suppose if you have like Incineroar GX and you put in 1 normal Incineroar, up the damage, it could work. Landed. It's really situational. Discard a grass energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. Does it do damage? I feel like it does damage. I feel like I can see a little. Yeah, it does 10 damage. Still very situational. Lazzle, once during your turn, discard a fire energy. Draw 3 cards. So it's Heat Factory, but as an ability. which I like. Blacephalon, reveal a price card. If it's a fire energy, do 50 more damage. It's decent. And Fireball Circus is discard. That actually goes really well with Cephalon, yeah, with Bounds. Although it is 3 fire energy itself. I mean, it gets more energy in the discard that you can then get back with Naganadel and then do more damage with the GX. I can see why people are hyped about that one. Squirtle, War Turtle, less damage, it's always good. Blastoise GX, Solid Shell, really less damage, which is even better than 20. Rocket Splash, 60 times any amount of water energy attached to your Pokemon, shuffle into your deck. Geyser GX, attach as many water energy as you like from your hand to your Pokemon in any way you like. I'm not a big fan of Blastoise GX. Although I suppose it does go well with the other Blastoise, the normal, like the small baby Blastoise goes well with it because you can just whatever that attack is, not luge or whatever, the one where you look at the top 7 cards or something and attach energy. It goes well with that. I suppose it could be good, especially with all the fire support that I keep hearing about that I've not really seen so far. I suppose we'll see that when we get to the trainers. Poliwag. Only if you go second and only in your first go. Leave your opponent's active Pokemon confused. Ah, I like it. Poliwhirl, Poliwrath. Isn't great. Tentacool. Another card that if you use Janine it does more damage. Cruel Tentacles on Tentacruel. See what you did there. You just swapped its name around. Really creative. With one energy attached to one of your opponent's Pokemon to another of your opponent's Pokemon, then put 3 damage counters on the Pokemon that energy was moved to. I like it. And Paralysis on a coin flip. Slowpoke, 20 less damage. Slowbro, put your opponent to sleep. I'm a big fan of Brilliant Wager. Could do 300 damage. Could potentially one hit a tag team. I'm pretty sure any tag team. Also, could potentially lose the game outright. Personally, I think it's worth the risk. I say go for it. I do wonder if you can reflip with Victini, or if you just lose the game before you can use the ability. So I'm actually unsure about that. But I'd like to see what people think. Like, what's the actual answer there? You just lose the game before you can use the ability, or can you use the ability before you lose the game? Let me know in the comments if you know or what you think. Dugong. I was a big fan of Dugong when it could, I think it was paralyze or confuse on a coin flip. It was a great one. This Dugong, I'm unimpressed with, I'll be honest. It makes a mockery, the old Dugong. A mockery. Let's see, what else we got? Kingler. Full beam, 80 damage. Paralysis on a coin flip. That's decent. But again, watercolorless, colorless. Kind of want more. And Massive Rend. Goldeen. Sea King. Excited Horn. Interesting name. 30 damage, 2 coins, 30 times the number of heads. Oh, if it has a 2 attached, flip 6 coins instead. That's actually quite interesting. Put choice band on it. And flip 6 tail to do 0 damage anyway. I like it. Huron. Search for water energy and attach it to this Pokemon. Hail Prison. 110 damage. Discard 2 water energy. Opponent's Pokemon is now paralyzed. No coin flip there. Frogadier. After image strike, 20 damage. Oof. Prevent all damage on a coin flip. Poke just has quick attack. Muku. Surprised rock, paper, scissors, 60 plus. Oh my god. Oh, I love that so much. Surprised rock, paper, scissors, 60 plus damage. You and your opponent play rock, paper, scissors. You win this attack. If you win, this attack does 60 more damage. I mean, that's incredible. It is absolutely incredible. I have to look up now what the what set the other Pyukumuku is in. Do we lose other Pyukumuku in rotation? Yeah, we do. It's space set. That's really sad. That's disappointing. We lose continuous tumble Pyukumuku, but we found a new one, and that's what matters. I might have to revive Pyukumuku's list after this one. We can call for family for 2 more Pyukumuku. It's consistency. We'll see what happens. Pikachu, Raichu. Use this attack only for 3 or more prize cards than your opponent. Attach all lightning energy cards from your discard to your Pokemon in any way you like. I mean, that's a good kind of comeback card, but you don't really play it if you're not losing, I don't think, because Headbolt isn't great. Stunfisk, 30 and 10 snipe, or 30 times each of your Pokemon with damage counters on it. Then GX, the change is everyone's been pretty hyped about that. I like that you can only use 1 per turn, and that you have to discard your hand. Zappy return, I like the look of. Paralyze your opponent and return this Pokemon and all cards attached to your hand. You can just reuse the ability, which I like. Zappy return is a fun attack name. I'm a fan. Charjabug. This card is in your hand. You may attach this. Attach this card as a special energy card to Vikavolt or Vikavolt GX and provide 2 lightning. I like that. I didn't know there was a Vikavolt GX. Is that in this set? I would assume so, because it's specified. Or I wonder if that's just as a in case we make a Vikavolt GX down the line. I guess we'll find out. What's Vikavolt got though? Stealth Body. If there's any stadium card, no weakness. That's pretty solid. And then 120 or discard all lightning energy from this Pokemon. If you do, this attack does 100 more damage. Also, that's the other thing about Charjabug. Does battery then count, because you're attaching it as a special energy card, is it your attachment for the turn? So you can't Vikavolt, can't Lightning Strike for 220 twice in a row if you're just manually attaching. I think that's what I would take it as, that it's your attachment for the turn. But again, I really haven't a clue. So, Theriora, Crushing Claw, discard a special energy could be good. 50 times, discard all lightning energy. 50 for each card discarded. Muck and Alolan Muck GX, I'm a big fan of. At poison. 8 damage counters is always good, instead of 1 for poison. Poison Lick for 120. And if your opponent's Pokemon is poisoned, heal 100 damage. And again, goes really well with File Plume. Sticky Mix GX. Poisoned and paralyzed. Has 4 or more energy attached to it, but 15 damage counters instead of 1 on that Pokemon between turns. I'm a big fan of Muck and Alolan Muck GX. To Psychic could be problematic. 270 is still a decent number though. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to be playing this, trying to figure it out. Possibly with Vileplume, probably not. What's the other one? Hold on. There's another one we talked about earlier that was like damage times the amount. Oh yeah, Assassin Flight could go well with it. Where is it? There's one that's no, where? Yeah, there we go. Victory Bell, 60 more damage for each special condition. Could go well with the Alolan Muck GX. Oh, sorry, Muck and Alolan Muck GX. Excuse me. Beacons, paralysis on a coin flip. Arbok, paralysis on a coin flip, but 30 damage instead of none. And Heavy Choke. If this Pokemon used Wrap during your last turn, this attack does 120 more. Interesting. I mean, that could be decent, especially if you're flipping heads. If you're flipping tails, you're probably in trouble. Zubat goes well with Vileplume. Again, if you can flip heads. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, excuse me, prevent all effects of your opponent's attacks, including damage done to this Pokemon until the end of your opponent's next turn. That's pretty decent. Then, if you evolve it on the bench and then put it in the active, does that reset the ability? I don't know. Severe Poison, 60 damage and 4 counters instead of 1 for poison. That's pretty solid. Ghastly. When it's knocked out, search your deck for up to 2 Haunter and put them onto your bench. Are you better off then just not evolving it and hoping your opponent knocks it out? Haunter poisons your opponent's active and puts 1 damage counter on each of your opponent's bench. Gengar puts 6 damage counters on your opponent's GX and EX in any way you like when you evolve it. I like that. And 70 damage and a poison and a sleep. I like that Gengar, I'll be honest. Hypno. If your opponent's active Pokemon is knocked out, you flip a coin. If heads, you choose your opponent's new active. I like that as well, actually. I think that could be a really good card. You definitely you don't attack with Rock the Brain. Coughing confuses both. Wheezing. Tension Gas. At any time between turns, if this is your active, 1 damage counter on each of your opponent's basic Pokemon. I like that. And Scatter Sludge, 40, 20 to each bench Pokemon with any damage counter on it. So, yeah. So you hope that your Weezing survives a turn, and then you Detention Gas between both turns, and then Scatter Sludge. I like it. Mewtwo. You play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, choose a supporter card in your discard, show it to your opponent, put it on top of your deck. I mean, it's not great. Alright. I mean, yeah, it's alright. It's not amazing. Bench Barrier on Mew. Misdreavus, Mismagius. That's good. May knock out this Pokemon. Draw cards till you have 7 in hand. That could be very good. What's the attack again, actually? Hypnotic Wave, 70 damage and asleep. That's alright. Mainly for the ability, though. Pyrokinesis. 20 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon for each damage counter on that Pokemon. I like it. Although it doesn't work if none of your opponent's benched Pokemon are damaged, which is a pain. Okay, Cat Day is just an extra 2 cards. So Perplexing Eye is 70 damage. Defending Pokemon's weakness is now psychic until the end of your next turn. Assume the effect of the attack only happens after the damage is done, that you're not hitting them for weakness the first time you use Perplexing Eyes. Reset Hole. Once during your turn, discard any stadium in play. Put this Pokemon and all cards attached to it in your discard pile. I like it. And this is the one with 60 more damage if your opponent's active is an Ultra Beast, which is good. Weak to Darkness is a pain, but I think like most things are knocking out 80 HP anyway. Marshadow and Machamp GX. If any of your Pokemon were knocked out by damage from an opponent's attack during their last turn, 90 more damage, 160, and Extremity of Stalwart. 1 extra energy. This Pokemon will be knocked out from an attack. Okay. So if it has 1 extra energy, it's like it just has Fighting Fury about next turn. Again, if it's put to the bench, that's reset. So it's not great. Sandshrew, Sandslash. Isn't great. Piglet. This Pokemon is discarded by the effect of Giovanni's Exile. Discard the top card of your opponent's deck. Suppose we'll have to wait and see what Giovanni's Exile does. I assume it discards cards, given that Piglet is discarded by it. Ushio does 60 more for if there's a stadium in play. Nothing amazing. Heavy Slam, 180 minus. 30 less for each colorless in your opponent's act. Yeah. Not great. Pretty bad, actually. Cubone. Marowak. 70 more damage if your opponent's got a tool attached to it. But again, it's 3 colorless for 70 damage. Rhyhorn. Rhydon. Again, interacts with Giovanni's Exile. If you played Giovanni's Exile from your hand this turn, discard the top 5 cards to your opponent's deck instead of 1. Could be good for a mill. Rhyperior, 90 damage. If it's a basic, it can't attack. It's evolve. Unless it's a GX, I suppose. Break Ground, 160. 20 to each of your benched Pokemon. Excuse me again. Wooper. Speaking of Wooper, come back Woopercast, I say. Trade to Shaman. Agsire. Pretty bad. Bigger. Any energy attached to it has no retreat cost. If you use Janine, does 90 more damage. Gliscor. Not great either, but it poisons your opponent's active. Rogue. Once during your turn, you may flip a coin. If heads, put 3 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. Either way, your turn now ends. I mean, that's never going to get used. Either way, your turn now ends. Free retreat, though. Excuse me. Oh dear. Okay, focus and finish this out. God, I'm exhausted. Hitmontop. Opponent abuse Hitmonlee use special combo during your last turn. 60 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon. That's good. I can't remember what special combo does. Pretty sure that was in the last set. Riolu, Landorus, linear attack. It's not great. For a brawler. Abominable. If fewer Pokemon in play, 60 more for each Pokemon Fury you have. It's got potential. Especially for only a PCE. Definitely got potential, I think. Stack Attacker. If your opponent has 3 or less prize cards remaining, maximum HP is 200. Couple that with the Stack Attacker GXs and you've got a bulky one prizer. It's mill as well. I like it. Greninja Zoroark GX. 30 damage plus 30 more for each dark energy attached to your Pokemon. Goes well with the Incineroar. Doesn't that accelerate dark energy? Incineroar GX? Cannot remember. Night Unison GX. Put 2 in any combination of dark Pokemon GX or EX from your discard pile onto your bench. It has at least 1 extra energy attached to it. 2 energy cards from your discard pile to each of those Pokemon. That's pretty decent. Good way to set up. And it's just 1 extra energy, is it? It's not 1 extra dark energy. It's... I don't know why I keep doing that, because I can't. It won't load. Anyway. So it's just dark DCE. And that's a good way to set up. Murkrow. Honchkrow GX. As long as this is your active Pokemon, can't play any Pokemon Tool, Special Energy, or Stadium cards. Featherstorm does 90 damage, 30 damage to 2 of your opponent's benched Pokemon GX or EX. And Unfair GX. Your opponent reveals their hand, discard 2 cards from it. I really like the look of this Honchkrow, to be honest. It might go well with Gengar Mimikyu GX, because if they can't play schools or stadiums, I suppose they can still play normal items and supporters, so it doesn't really hinder that much. Special Energy is a pain though. Special Energy, the fact that they can't play Special Energy kind of screws over Zork. I'm not sure what else it really screws over. I suppose it makes things a pain for Salazar. But I don't really know, again, what else it would cause problems for. Carvanha, Sharpedo. Play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn. Top 6 cards of your deck. Any dark energy you find there, and attach them to this Pokemon. Bad Fang for 60 plus, 20 more for each dark energy attached to this Pokemon. So if you've attached, it's 3 colorless, but if you've got 3 dark attached to it, that's 120, which is pretty good. Especially if you're using Greedy Evolution and getting a good few energy cards with it. Spiritomb, just 1 damage counter on it if you want. Helps with Anguish Scream. I really should have read the attack before I made fun of the ability. Again, I mean, I don't see how it's going to really work, because pretty much everything's going to be 1 hit KO on it, unless you have it on the bench and you keep building Spite. They just don't deal with it. Sandile. Sandile. If your opponent's Pokemon is knocked out by damage from this attack during your next turn, this Pokemon's attacks do an additional 120 damage. Does that count if you evolve it? I would assume no. I think it resets. Also, they're probably going to knock it out. It's only 70 HP. Rockorock, Crocodile, Gobble Gobble Panic. Big fan of the name. 50 for each energy in the opponent's tree cost. I'm playing Crunch. I'm a big fan of the name of Gobble Gobble Panic, but I think the card as a whole is relatively poor. Ninja, King Down. Ooh, choose one Pokemon with fewest remaining HP, just knock it out. It's a dangerous game you're playing. It could work. Could work very well. Inky, Malamar. Your opponent reveals their hand. You may discard a Pokemon you find there and choose one of its attacks uses this attack. That's interesting. Could go well with Lavender Town, so at least then you know for certain if the attack is better than Dark Pressure or not. I think that's how I would probably play it. So that you have the option then of using Dark Pressure or an attack from a Pokemon in your opponent's hand. Lucario Melmetal GX, Metal Fist. Search your deck for Metal Energy and attach to this Pokemon. The impact is just for 150. And then Full Metal Wall GX. Until the end of this game, your Metal Pokemon take 30 less damage from your opponent's attacks. If this Pokemon has at least one extra energy attached to it, discard all energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. I mean, that's pretty good early game, especially with the likes of Metal Frying Pan, Metal Goggles, I suppose. I don't know if that reduces damage. Choice Helmet, and then just a ton of healing probably. I think I'd put it in Metagross. I think it'd be really good in Metagross actually. Especially, yeah, I think it'll be really good in Metagross. And again, it's one extra energy, and this isn't for Metagross because it doesn't play DCE, but it seems to be for just one extra energy as opposed to one extra metal energy. So a DCE gets both of those abilities in the attack. Alolan Diglett, Ram for free, that's always good. Alolan Dugtrio with Hair Wall. Any damage done to your metal Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's active, reduced by 10. Aaron, Rigidify. Lairon also has Rigidify for the exact same. Aggron does not, however, have Rigidify. It has Tight Press. Ooh, 80 damage during your opponent's next turn if this Pokemon is damaged by an attack. Put 8 damage counters on your opponent's active. That's pretty solid. Lucario does extra if you attach the Pokemon tool with this turn. Insect, High Speed Flight Form. If your opponent has any GX or EX, this Pokemon is no retreat cost. And then Sprit Beam is 30 and 30 snipe to 2 bench. Not great. Meltan. Melmetal. During your turn, discard a metal Pokemon card from your hand. Deal 100 damage from this Pokemon. Gardevoir and Sylveon GX. Fairy Song. Search your deck for up to 2 Fairy Energy. Dash into your bench Pokemon and you will like Light Storm. 150. Use any number of energy attached to your Pokemon and play. Rearrange them in any way you like. And then Miracle Magical GX for 200. And if you've got 3 extra fairy, your opponent shuffles their hand into their deck. Doesn't draw anything. I mean, I like the GX attack. The rest of the card I just think is very meh. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Gardevoir and Sylveon GX. We got Cleffa, flip a coin, shuffle draw 6. Either way, your turn now ends. Clefairy, I assume that's not really called Bitch Slap. Fable, Lunar Dance, Jigglypuff, flip a coin till you get tails. Is Continuous Tumble for double colorless as opposed to single colorless without an amazing ability. It's just a poor man's Pukumuku is how I'll describe Jigglypuff. Wigglytuff, 3 energy cards from this card, put them into your hand. Togepi, Togetic, Togekiss. Once during your turn, heal 30 damage from each of your fairy Pokemon. Cottony, Whimsicott GX, Fluffy Cotton. Any damage is done to this Pokemon by attacks, flip a coin. If heads, prevent that damage. That's pretty solid. Energy Blow, 10 plus 30 more times the amount of energy attached to this Pokemon. Toy Box GX. Search deck for 5 cards and put them into your hand is pretty solid. I mean, that's just Algorithm GX. Which was always good. Unless your opponent plays Judge or something straight away. Intense Scent. Flip 2 coins for each heads. Oh, if either of them is heads, your opponent reveals their hand. For each heads, choose a card you find there and it gets shuffled back into your deck, into your opponent's deck. Miracle Cologne, 30 damage. If heads, choose a special condition, just any special condition, and your opponent, the active, is stuck with it. Rattata, Raticate, Escape Fang. I have to point out, Rattata with an off of 30 is pretty poor, especially when it's only got 30 HP. Raticate, Escape Fang, 70. The defending Pokemon is evolution, switch this with one of your bench. That's pretty poor. Spearow, Fearow. All pretty poor. This is a pretty poor set, I think, so far. Each of your Pokemon in play with a Cat Day attack pay no energy to use their attacks. That's Meowstick. What's Meowstick's second attack? Let's go back and have a look. Up past this, up past these, over the psychics. Past here. Further and further we go. Here we go. Perplexing Eyes for free. That's pretty solid. I mean, Perplexing Eyes for free is pretty decent. It's not amazing, but it's decent. Right, where are we now? Past these again. Here we are. Persian GX doesn't have Cat Day. Has Cat Walk. If your Pokemon GX or EX was knocked out by damage from an opponent's attack during their last turn, search your deck for 2 cards, put them in your hand, then shuffle your deck. Revenge, 10 plus 20 more for each Pokemon in your discard, up to a maximum of 9. So that's what? 9 20s is 180, so up to, you're doing 190, 220 maximum with a choice band. It's not great. Slashback GX, 150, switch this with one of your bench. Not great. Not a great GX card. Dodrio. Seems pretty bad. Lickitung. Paralysis on a coin flip. Licky. For doing damage, if your opponent's active has a tool attached to it, discard it. If you do, heal all damage. from this one. And Licky Hurricane seems bad. Porygon, Porygon, Porygon 2, Porygon Z. Use this ability as many times as you like. Attach special energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon. And yeah, I mean, that seems like a good ability. Unless you're up against Honchkrow GX, in which case it's useless. It's a good ability. On a stage 2 though, so it's not like it's an easy 1-1 to slot into something. I could see it being used. Could be good. Snorlax. Heal 10 damage from this Pokemon between turns. And the counter does 180 if it's against a tag team. That's pretty solid. Glameow also has Cat Day, so can Hopping Tail for free. Again, doesn't seem great. Broglie. So been a lot of cards that discard from your opponent's hand, which is really interesting. Happiny. Heads heal 60 damage from one of your Pokemon. Either way, your turn ends now. I can't really see any of those ever being used. The ones with the abilities that are like your turn ends now. So they do have free retreat. Mimic is just Copycat as an attack. Celesteela GX. Not sure why this wasn't up with the metal types, but who knows. As long as this Pokemon is your active, and all effects of your opponent's GX attacks, including damage, to each of your Pokemon. That's pretty solid. So to each of your Pokemon. So like Venusaur could still heal itself and shuffle back in. It just doesn't do the damage. That's interesting. Power Cyclone. Discovery GX. Count your prize cards and put them into your hand. Take that many prize cards from the top of your deck and put them face down. That's interesting as well. If you can't put the counted number of cards down as prize cards, this attack fails. Okay. It's quite an interesting idea for an attack. Let's look at the trainers. Springer. You have exactly 6 prize cards remaining and your opponent's active. No, wait. And your opponent's GX or EX knocked out by damage from an attack of this Ultra Beast this card is attached to. Take 1 more prize card. So that's only good at the very start of the game. But it's still quite good, I think. Always good to take extra prizes. Crunching Ice Pick. Look at the top 3 cards of either player's deck and choose one of them. The player shuffles the other cards back into their deck, then put the card you chose on top of that deck. Interesting. Excuse me. I don't know if you go for your own deck or your opponent's, which would be better. Evolution Spray. That Pokemon can't evolve this turn. And also you shuffle them into your deck. I'm not sure when that would be useful. Duskstone seems pretty good. Gets out the Honchkrow GX quicker. Dust Island. Oh, I do like this Dust Island. When a player switches their poison active Pokemon with the effect of a trainer card, new active Pokemon is now poisoned. Goes really well with the Alola Muck GX, I think. Electromagnetic Radar. Discard 2 cards from your hand. Search your deck for up to 2 in any combination of Lightning, GX or EX Pokemon and put them into your hand. Good support for Lightning type. Energetic Fidget Spinner. I don't know if that's the actual name of the card. I mean, who knows? It does look like a fidget spinner, so I can understand why it would be. Search your deck, but to be fair, Pitch Slap earlier made me feel suspicious. So we'll see. Search your deck for a basic energy card, reveal it, put it into your hand. If you go second on your first turn, you may search your deck for 3. It's alright. Fairy Charm ability. We all know what Fairy Charms do. Fairy Charm Lightning. Are there any types that don't have a Fairy Charm now at this point? Oh dear. My throat is getting to me now. Alright though, we can do this. Fire Crystal. 3 fire energy from your discard to your hand. Seems good for fire. Oh, here's Giovanni's Exile. Use up to two of your bench Pokemon with no damage counters on them. Discard those Pokemon and all cards attached to them. Easy way to get rid of things like Lele's and just easy prizes on your bench, I suppose. Green Search. Can't play this card if you have any Pokemon in play with abilities. Search your deck for 2 trainer cards, reveal them and put them into your hand. Interesting. Oh dear. It only works with certain decks, I suppose. But it seems like an interesting idea. Mean. 4 cards of your deck, choose 2 and put them into your hand. And works well with a number of cards throughout the set, as we've seen. Koga's Trap. Here it is, goes with Venomoth. Oh, your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused and poisoned. I actually quite like that as a card. I think, yeah, quite like that. Lieutenant Surge's Battle. Only play this if you have more prize cards than your opponent. Up to 3 supporter cards this turn. I didn't realise that was only if you have more prizes. But I suppose that makes a lot of sense. And it's good to kind of help people get back into it. Oh dear. We're nearly there. We can do this. This is a comeback card. Martial Arts Dojo. Active Pokemon with basic fighting energy attached. Do 10 more damage. If there's a player with more prize cards, attacks if their Pokemon with basic fighting energy attached do 40 more damage. And you could just tech in 1 fighting energy and use that. But I suppose that's actually, now that I've said it loud, that seems like a stupid idea. Let's forget I ever said it. Metal Core Barrier. If this card is attached to a Pokemon, discard this card at the end of your turn. Right. The Metal Pokemon this card is attached to takes 70 less damage. I assume that means if it's attached to a Pokemon other than a Metal Pokemon. That's actually goes really well with the Metal GX attack. Interesting. I could see that definitely getting play. The one that's a team that's heal 30 or not take 30 less damage for the rest of the game. It seems to go really well together. I could definitely see that being a thing. Morlane, Morlane, yeah. Discard 2 metal energy cards from your hand. Shuffle a trainer from your discard into your deck. Pokegear 3.0. Put the top 7 cards of your deck. Choose one supporter card. Put it in your hand. That's pretty good. Power Plant. Pokemon GX and EX has no abilities. That seems like a really good card. It's Challenge. Discard 2 cards from your hand. Search your deck for 1 and put it into your hand. Seems decent. I think that kind of card will always be good because it just can find anything. Samson Oak, draw 2 cards. If both active Pokemon are the same type, draw more. That doesn't seem good at all. They're much better supporters. Secret Hood. And all effects of your opponent's abilities done to the Pokemon this card is attached to. Interesting. Surprise Box. I misread that at first. I thought it said your discard. It doesn't. It's your opponent's discard, and I don't really see when that would be relevant. Unless, I suppose, we're to Mimikyu Gengar and you're just putting more trainers into their hand. I suppose then it could kind of be an interesting play. Ultra Forest Carton Boy. Damage from the attacks of your Ultra Beast isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. Welder. Catch up to 2 fire energy cards from your hand to one of your Pokemon. If you do, draw 3 cards. That's a very good card. And Triple Acceleration Energy. Provides 3 colorless energy as long as it's attached to a Pokemon and discarded at the end of the turn. That's really good. I like that it's discarded right at the end of the turn. Not a Prism Star, is it? But it has to be an evolved Pokemon as well, which is also really good. It's also quite interesting. And then you've just got the full arts and the secret rares, I suppose. That one's nice enough. Venomoths. Not a fan of that Venomoth. That's alright. It's to be honest, that's horrifying. Not a fan of that one. I think I prefer this art. Although, I don't know. Actually, yeah. I have to change my mind on that. I think I'd take either of them. That one's good. I like this one. I'm not a big fan of that one. What else? Yeah, again, this one's good. Wouldn't take. Well, it's alright, but I think I prefer this one. Honchkrows is decent. Cario Melmetal. It's alright. Carnivore Sylveon. Nice art. They're both good. Pity it's a terrible card. Well, not terrible, just poor. They're alright. They're not great. They're alright. They're alright. They're all only alright. I'm not going into the secret rares. I mean, overall, it's a very underwhelming set. There are a couple of interesting cards. There's an awful lot of very underwhelming cards. I'm not a big fan of the set as a whole. I think my favorite card is probably Lucario Melmetal GX. I think there's a lot you could do with that one. possibly with Metagross. I'm also a big fan of where is it? It's up the top. Up in the grass types. Oh no. I forgot what I was looking there for there. I'm also a big fan of Muck and Alolan Muck GX, and I think there's a lot you could do with that as well. I will definitely be trying out both of those whenever I get the chance. So yeah, I mean, it's an hour. There's a lot of cards in there, and a lot of let's call a spade a spade. There's a lot of crap cards in there. A lot of filler that I think is unnecessary, but it's there. And with pre-releases coming up this weekend, starting this weekend, I just hope whoever is attending one gets something decent. And yeah, who knows? I might be completely wrong about the vast majority of cards in this set, and they might all turn up. Excuse me, they might all turn out to be game breaking, but I doubt it. We'll see what happens. Anyway, we'll leave it there. I'll have the football manager video to put out within the next week or so, probably over the weekend. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you then.